Okay, and so a little bit more luck with the GTI.
I would think so because I really like those coils that they have on there.
Yeah.
But just makes it a little cumbersome, kind of a tougher type of detector to manipulate, to use.
Yeah.
But
And how do you
it's
what
still
do you think about
solid.
separation? How do you think it'll do with
Separation. I
separation?
mean, it's once again, this is all going to depend on what type of ground you're in, mineralization, all those good things. So, I mean, I can't say it's any better or any worse. They're all pretty similar nowadays.
Yep. All right, so we're going to look at the blocks now with the Treasure Vision. Currently, if you Google it, it's for sale for $1,049. The regular score, which I'm seeing online right now for $349, and the Exterra Pro, which is $269. So we're going to look at the block test. I put a couple of large rusty nails out here as well, just to see if any of the machines are falsing. I was running the Xterra Pro at -8 because you can adjust the tone breaks on them, but I was getting a little bit of falsing, so I did put it back to level 4. You can adjust that to get a good tone at -8. You might be okay depending on your site. If you're getting a lot of falsing, you might have to go back to -4. So I'm going to leave it at -4 for this test, but I'll show you where it stops at -4, adjust it to -8, and see, show you just how far you can go with the blocks with that. So we're going to start with the GTI. Because you've already seen this, if you've been watching, you've seen the score, go through it, and the Xterra. I showed the score with the update on how field mode now has a lower iron filter. So wherever the GTI stops, we'll continue with the score and the Xterra Pro. So the first thing I'm going to show is just that it's not falsing on nails, and I actually added a couple here that have bottle caps. So I'm using relic mode because if you do go into the mode here that is, oh, let me back out of this. If you go into 0 mode, you're going to get, everything will be coming through. So we can't do that. So we're going to go to relic mode, and the iron, the nails, not getting a little chirp every now and then out of them. But other than that, nothing. Now, the GTI also doesn't have an iron audio. Those two tones that you just heard, that's the bi-level audio. That's really all you get. So for sensitivity, let's see. So we're in relic. Sensitivity, I have it down a few notches just because we're right outside the house. Threshold, there is a little hum coming through. Frequency is right there. That's just a frequency shift. Volume is maxed out. The tone, we're not, we have the search image on, the search aids. Surface eliminating, we're not eliminating the surface. We're not eliminating salt. And we have it in the two-tone bi-level audio. All right, so let's see how we do here. Anyone who's not seen this test, this is the same plane here. I'll kind of talk it out a little bit. Same plane nail with a nickel. Everything is glued down, so these tests never change. All right, so it's hitting that. Same plane next to a dime. This machine running a lower kilohertz, I've noticed through this test that it does better at the high conductors. So there's a dime now. We're at level 2. We're a ½ inch raised. All right, ½ inch raised now next to a buffalo nickel. Nothing. These tests make me glad that I built these easier blocks, because the machines that I've had lately fly through these, except the the Amazon machines that they send me for review, and obviously what we're seeing here with the GTI, which is $600+ more than the two you're looking at right there. So level 3 now is 1 inch raised next to a nickel. Nothing. The dime, yep, it likes the high conductors better than this. So gold machine, I don't think it's a gold machine, especially with the low frequency that it runs. I believe it runs at 7-ish, if I'm not exactly sure. But here's the dime now, level 4. So level 3 was 1 inch raised. Level 4 now is an 1.5 inch raised nail. And these are all nails that I dug at old home sites. So it's not hitting the dime at the 1.5 inch raised. Now we're at 1.5 inch with a piece of gold. Not hitting that. Now this is a quarter. I think it hits this one. Yep. It likes that. Now level 5, I built these blocks as a higher level just because I have iron on each side, but what I am noticing from other machines, I think level 5 is a little bit easier than level 4, depending on the machine. But it's not finding this mercury dime, 1.5-inch nail, and then the nail next to it. And level 5, this is a V-nickel. And it does not like those mid-conductors. What I did notice is whatever internal filtering is going on in this machine, it is knocking out bottle caps. So it doesn't have a bottle cap reject, but it is doing good. So I can see, you know, when this machine was released, that it was probably a great pock hunter because it is ignoring bottle caps. So I'll put the coil just over the bottle cap. Well, I lied, but yeah, see, sometimes it hits it, but it's doing better at ignoring bottle caps than I saw on other machines. Really depends on how close you get to it. If I'm right on it, it hits it, and then a couple inches higher and it doesn't hit it. Let's do that with this one. Yeah, but if I'm right on it, maybe I was hitting part of the nickel before, because now it's not hitting it. So there's the nickel. Yeah, it's got a pretty good bottle cap reject in this machine. All right, so there's a look at the GTI 2500, the Treasure Vision. When I did ask the two dealers this morning, big dealers too, they did say that it would be on par separation. I'll get more depth out of the GTI than I will those two machines, and it'll be on par with separation. Something to keep in mind. That's why I like going to the smaller dealers who seem to be a lot more honest with you. Now the score at first with the beta version, it did not do too good at this. So I'm going to go through park mode really quick. We're in multi 2 in park mode, one level down on sensitivity. Now when it starts to fail, I'll switch over to field mode. I guess first then we'll go over the bottle caps. So you can see park mode has a bottle cap reject built in. Good and bad. Good for a park hunter who doesn't want to dig bottle caps. But if you go over to field mode now, which will be better for separation, relic digging, we're getting a chirp. It's coming through a lot better than we saw in park mode. And here's a high conductor. High conductor does really good. Let's go back over to park mode. Okay, park mode really suffers on that. Go back to field. All right, but if I go over this in field, let's see what happens with the bottle caps. All right, field mode lets them in. Park mode, come up a little bit. Now I'm really high off it, close to it, knocking out that bottle cap. So they did that on purpose for beginner detectorists. I don't mind that you have field right next to it because it's the push of a button. You know, field mode, park mode. I would like a high-low in park mode for people who do like the 3 tones and want a low iron filter, to have like the Vanquish 540 has, how it has a button, you hold it down and you're in low iron filter, because field mode only has 2 tones. So here's park mode over this one. Come up on it. They did a really nice job with that bottle cap reject. Here's field mode. So field mode lets it in. Park mode does not. So they really figured out bottle caps. That's good. Like I said, good and bad. Depends on your hunting style. So we're going to go to park mode, and we'll go over the same plain nickel. The beta version was, you know, a lot better than this in park mode. But like I said in other videos, they must have had testers really want this implemented for beginners. And I'll go over to field mode. No problem. So we'll stick with field mode because we're already starting to lose level 1. So here's a dime in field mode. And keep an eye on that ID too. So over the iron turns to a 4. Over the dime, it goes to 18. 4, 18. All right, now we're a 1/2 inch raised next to the bobber dime. Jumped up to a 35. And now we're at a nickel, 1/2 inch raised. All right, and this is 1-inch raised nickel. And 1-inch raised dime. I'm varying the coil to see where it hits it best, but if you raise the coil, you'll get it better than right over the nail. Now we're at 1.5-inch raised nail. Let me get it away from the other machine. This is a tough test, these right here. 1.5-inch next to the gold. Does not mind the mid-conductor of gold. And 1.5-inch of the quarter. This is a silver quarter. All right, level 5, the dime. And the V-nickel. Okay, so they did a nice job lowering down the iron filter on the score. The score is $349, so we're talking over $600 difference there. Now the Xterra is single frequency, so we're going to miss out on some of the things that the score has, being single frequency. One, let me show you what I was talking about earlier, about if you hold this button down and you're in tone break, you can lower this level, tone 1, to accept in -8 or higher. But I did notice that I'm getting some chirping on this. So, and above ground, you're going to get more chirping, definitely, when it's in the ground and it has a halo. So we'll go over, let's look at the bottle caps. All right, so the Exterra, not being multi-frequency, does not have any type of bottle cap filter. Those are things that you'll see on multi-frequency machines. Let me turn the iron on, see if we hear any iron. Close to it, above it. Yeah, we got some iron, but I mean, they're gonna be tough to tell on single frequency machines. But you know, the GTI is single frequency, and it's handling the bottle caps really well. Okay, so it's letting the bottle caps in, so it won't be a very good test on the Exterra unless you go by, what's the ID on it? Yeah, be tough. It's going to be tough to ignore bottle caps with the Xterra. I'm sure you could wiggle back some and get that. Yeah, so you can wiggle back. Now you may trust that on the beach or in a clean park, but I wouldn't trust that relic hunting. All right, so we're in Park 2, 15 kilohertz. Let me switch this back to -4. And then once we start to lose them, I'll switch it back to -8. So his same plane. No problem. That was the nickel. Here's the dime. Here's the dime, 1/2 inch raised. No problem. Nickel. All right, 1-inch raised nickel. Start to lose it, we'll be hearing an iron tone in there. Yep, but if I switch back to -8, oops, let's go around. Oh, we went down to 0, okay. So there's 4, let's go back down to, let's go to -8. We'll go over these again. I think we lost this one, but I was down at 0. That's too low. All right, so here's the nickel, 1-inch raised, where we were not getting this at level 4, -4. Very, really choppy, not coming through much at all. Get these nails out of the way. All right, here's the dime. Now we're at -8 right now. Oh no, we're at -4. It'll come through better at -8. That'll be site dependent on whether you can use that feature or not. All right, here's the dime, 1.5 inches. Come up a little bit. That's a tough one. The gold. The quarter. the dime, level 5, and the V nickel. Now, if I put this back down to -4, we're not going to hear these. Okay, the ID is plummeting down over here in the quarter, is being plummeted down by the iron next to it. But you have those options with this machine. The Score, you really have no options, and you can see how much better it's performing than this $1,000 machine that is still for sale on the internet. I was surprised to see it. Once I saw it on the internet, I called my buddy Don, who I knew had one, and I said, hey, let me use that and try it in the test garden and separation. Because what I was surprised by this, but call a dealer and you say, what's the difference between a $1,000 machine and the new Score or the new Xterra Pro? They're going to say that this is on par with these with separation, and this machine is $1,000 because of the target imaging, which is completely inaccurate around trash, and it's going to be a deeper machine. Now, they sell those aftermarket huge coils to make it a box machine. I think you can buy that setup for around $1,300. I could see that because this machine does hit a couple inches deeper, maybe 2 inches deeper on all metal, depending on the size of the target, in all metal mode. But in all metal mode, you are hearing everything. You're hearing everything in the ground. So that is very, very interesting to find out that this is still online and for sale. Let's see where Garrett goes. You know, I know Garrett isn't big in the security, so maybe we won't see anything new from Garrett. Or maybe they'll release the GTI 2500 camo mode, and it'll come with a duck collar. Maybe. But that Score and this Exterra is smoking that thing in depth and in separation for $600+ less. All right, everyone, thanks for watching.